Hi, it's ColdAir here. Yeah, my normal introduction in Finnish when it's translated to English doesn't have the same kind of cool rhythm. Like in Finnish it's ColdAir tässä taas terve, and in English it's hi, it's ColdAir here again. So yeah, to the subject. There was this great question in Lovecraftin Historian Seura, which is a Finnish version of the Lovecraft Historical Society. And the question was, how did everyone got introduced to Lovecraft? And then I thought maybe I should make a video out of it. And first I made it in Finnish, and then I thought like, maybe I should try it in English also. So this is my first full English video, so bear with me. My followers know I do like Lovecraft and are familiar with my content that is associated with Lovecraft or Cthulhu mythos overall, like for example my audiobooks, Cthulhu-Paapan muistelmat, and gameplays like Conarium Let's Play. And still they don't know the reasons and backstory how I got introduced to Lovecraft. So this will be like a storytime kind of thingy. So in July 2010 I had my first tumor removed and also got the news that I had cancer, which was already spreading all over my body, like in both of my lungs and in my stomach. That night after the surgery I got nothing else to do than try to rest and trying to comprehend the news I just got. Gladly, before the surgery I had borrowed some books from the library because I knew that the healing would take time. I had heard the name Lovecraft and had this weird preconception that he wrote vampire horror, which was quite huge thing in 2010. I think it's maybe because of the name Lovecraft and of one TV show I had seen when I was a child about horror stories. Who knows. So I started to read Lovecraft's The Color Out of Space that night after the surgery. Those who know Lovecraft and the story itself know that it got nothing to do with vampires, or vampire horror for that matter. Short synopsis for the story. There is an asteroid that falls into a farmer's land, and after it, the asteroid just starts to make everything twisted and weird. Yeah, I have sheets right behind the camera, just in case I remember to say everything. It was not vampire horror, it was science fiction, and actually my first touch to the science fiction itself. I was already going through this inner turmoil and little intoxicated because of the medicines, so when I kept on reading I was little dumbfounded. The realization and the story itself made so huge impact that I could not stop reading it. I had to read it all during that one night, and I gotta say I was a little paranoid, feeling like there is something like that force which is trying to get to me, trying to steal me, and I think it's felt almost like a metaphor to my disease. So yeah, that is how I found Lovecraft and his stories. In a way it was a perfect timing because I was going through this existential crisis. I was thinking about my mortality in the vast space of time. I am an atheist and a little bit agnostic, so I have this mindset that when we die, either we don't know what happens or we just cease to exist. Kinda rough, I know, but it is what it is. So when I heard that the writer himself actually died because of the cancer, I felt even more powerful connection with him and his writings. Like, even though he knew he was going to die, he still believed in his work and kept this almost cold, rational mindset about all of this, and like could care less, I'm gonna die, that's about it. So in a weird way it actually gave me power to go through my chemotherapy. The whole lore of Cthulhu mythos was also a huge part because I got a chance to dive deep into all of those stories. It gave me something else to think about and not get drowned on my self-pity, like I'm gonna die, boo-hoo. The time on chemotherapies and surgeries was a bit lonely at times, and I got fed up with all of that quite fast. It's actually huge irony in it, like the madness that Lovecraft created actually kept me sane during that time. And there's a little bit even more irony because after years have gone past, people had a little bit suspicion that Lovecraft himself was going through mental illness because of his heritage. So that was pretty much my whole year with cancer, chemotherapy, surgeries and Lovecraft. And after it I have bought all of the stories which are translated to Finnish. And they are published by Jalava, and actually the first translations that I read during that year were also published by Jalava. So this is more like a newer print of the stories. There's also other things on my collection of Lovecraftian stuffs, like for example coffee mugs and the search. And even, I gotta be careful with this, even sculpture of Cthulhu. This was actually made by my wife for one Christmas. And besides Lovecraft, I have also bought collections from Robert Bloch and Clark Ashton Smith. I have read only one story from August Derleth because I don't like his way of dealing with good versus evil, because in Lovecraft mindsets there isn't any good or evil. The good versus evil thing are only man-made concepts, like actually the Great Old Ones are aliens, so they could care less about humans. That is how Lovecraft meant the Cthulhu mythos. And now we get to Tulhupaapan muistelmat audiobook series, which I'm actually quite glad that the translators gave me permission to use their translations. Actually, it's quite funny, the Tulhupaapan muistelmat, it's translated in English, the story is by Grandpa Cthulhu, and the name is a little pun from the Moomin's Moomin Papa. So why do I do it, and why in Finnish? It's because I feel gratitude towards Lovecraft, and because he is dead, I can never thank him for his work. I want to spread his work even more wider and do my part in this way. And the other reason is that when I started to read the stories he made, I would have liked that if someone had already made audiobook in Finnish. Like nowadays there is many audiobooks in English, but I think I'm the first one who started to do them in Finnish. So yeah, now you know. I will keep on doing Tulhupaapan muistelmat series and also other kinds of videos related to Lovecraft. I don't care if they don't get any views, but if they do have some, that's awesome. I feel like I just have to do this, so what happens, it happens. So yeah, what is your story? How did you get introduced to this nihilism little American dude? And if there is even one person who started to read Lovecraft because of me, then my work has been successful. And that's about it. This was my first video in English. I hope you liked it. And without further ado, let's keep Elder Signs visible and Cthulhu in our hearts. I will see you in the next video, so bye bye!